thank you all again for joining me for another update from the executive board. Lee, I think we'll start again with just an overall thoughts on the general state of play at the club at the moment. How are we on the whole?
On the whole, we're okay. It's struggling. It's tough. Every week seems the same to me at the moment. Reviewing the position of the club, 10 o'clock every morning, and I know that Stefan down the board with me asking the same questions over and over again. But we have to monitor the club on a day-to-day basis. I liken it to being in intensive care in some ways, but as it stands, we've had a decent week and we're actually okay at the moment.
And I think going into the state of play, we'll head over to you, Stefan. How's the club looking financially at this moment? So, what's in place to see us through the next few months following the announcement that fans won't be able to come back into the stadium?
Yeah, obviously, we're able to take a very close look at the finances over the coming months. We're not in a bad position as it stands, but obviously the longer we go without supporters, the position becomes a little bit more difficult. But obviously, as always, we're very proactive in putting the measures in place to ensure that we can survive this crisis, and we will survive this crisis. But as the chairman said, we monitor it on a daily basis just to make sure that we don't find ourselves in trouble. But that said, there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes to ensuring that we are in that position.
And Lee, how helpful have the stakeholders been in securing the short-term future of the club, including the landlord?
Yeah, not only the short term. I think, Tom, I'm more interested in the long term of the club. The stakeholders, you've heard me refer to them a lot, have been really, really great. And I won't name them all, but I think particularly as I've said before, the fans, but the 1888 club, the box holders have been really helpful. And I mentioned the last time we did a video that the number of fans requiring season ticket holder refunds between 2 and 3%, which is remarkable performance, and that's so welcome to the club and helps us survive this pandemic. The fans might be interested to know that Steph and I met with Valerie Vaz, the local MP here last week, to explain to her the situation the club is in. And to be fair to her, she's written to the Chancellor, she's written to Oliver Dowden to put more pressure on the government to allow fans back in a socially distanced way as soon as possible, because we need that. I mean, securing the future of the club, short or long term, depends on that. And so we're going to put as much pressure as we can. And you point about the landlord. Yes, we got help in March when the lockdown started, and we've been given help once the government made the decision not to allow fans back in October the 1st. The landlord has helped again, and we've got a mutual agreement with the landlord to help us through this period, and I'm grateful for it. So the answer is yes, we have had help when we've asked for it, and it's been very welcome.
And Dan, Lee mentions there just how good the fans have been, and we've seen crowd fundraisers go ahead, we've seen donations come to the club. The support that we've seen from them over lockdown and even when the season started has continued to be amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah, the supporters have really rallied round, and all that help has been appreciated, whether that's been the volunteers that we had at the stadium during the last few months. Who actually, there's some that are still here. I don't think they want to go home, so they're continuing to paint some doors at the stadium and to help us out that way. And then obviously we still meet with the supporters groups during our working parties, so each member group is represented there. So what I'd say to supporters, if they've got any ideas that they want to channel into the football club, then to do that via their representative groups, who can then bring it to the table for Steph and I to consider each month. But the overwhelming message is one of thanks. It's been great to really be bonding with the supporters, all for the common cause, which we all know is the future success of Walsall Football Club.
And what's happening now on a day-to-day basis at the club? What sort of things have been implemented? What sort of things have started to change almost since we got the news that fans couldn't come back in?
We're still working towards the day-to-day operation of the football club. So the games are coming thick and fast, as we all know. We Saturday, Tuesday. So that operation continues to take place each and every day. We've reduced some of the hours of some of the departments, but operationally, we're ensuring that we're still open, we're still here, we've still got each department who are representing the football club. So it's tweaked and changed, but ultimately we're delivering on all the elements of the football club that we need to during this period.
And Lee, Dan mentions there that games are now coming thick and fast. You know, I think we've got 7 games between now and the end of October, but we're 6 games into the current season, and effectively we're unbeaten when we've played in 90 minutes. What are your thoughts on, you know, the overall start that we've had to the season?
Yeah, good, solid start of the season. I think next 3 games at home are going to be, I think, very, very important. Starting with Colchester tomorrow. I think it's been a good start. I think it's probably been well known now. We've got the longest run of any team in the whole football league in terms of being unbeaten. Let's not forget that. That takes a hell of a lot of work from our squad of players to achieve that. Yeah, well, I'd like to see a few more goals going in. I've just been watching training at the stadium, and they're banging them in from all angles. So I'm hoping that they're going to be doing that tomorrow against Colchester. I expect an attacking game. So generally, though, I'm pleased. And remember, you interviewed me October last year at the end of, when we'd lost every damn game in the month, which is one of my less comfortable interviews. So I'm rather hoping that Mr. Clark's watching this and doesn't give me a very uncomfortable October. And let's start with a win tomorrow. But generally speaking, I'm pretty pleased with the way the team have responded to. And I expected them to, actually. I expected to have a decent start. If we win tomorrow, a very good start. Because, things I mentioned before, we're stable, we're talented, and we've got a real good blend of some experience and some youth in this squad. So I'm generally pleased, yes.
And Steph, on the note of, you know, the amount of games we've got coming up, you know, the iFollow has provided us with a steady form of income. It's not been the same as, you know, fans actually coming to the stadium, but what are the club doing to make sure that there are more fans going towards the iFollow and buying iFollow passes?
Yeah, it's a really important element for us, Tom. Obviously, we can't generate any revenue through the turnstiles, but we can generate revenue through the streaming platform, and it's been well supported so far. It does really make a big difference to us because it's revenue that we can't generate elsewhere. In terms of attracting people, supporters to the feed, we've run competitions where both season ticket holders and match pass purchasers have had the opportunity to win signed shirts and things like that, and we'll do similar things moving forward. It is really important that the supporters do follow us. I mean, from the perspective of the players and the management and the staff, they're keen to know that supporters have got their eyes on the performances and to see how we're doing. And from every other angle, it's very important to us financially and operationally.
And we mentioned the financial aspect there. As well as the season ticket holders and commercial partners, we've had the lots of the 1888 members and the executive box holders. They've all been very forthcoming as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And I've got some lovely, just sat and spent 15 minutes reading some letters I've got from supporters from all parts of the stadium, but 1888 club members. And in fact, one or two 1888 club members have offered to buy their next season ticket now to give us additional cash. Now, we're not at the point where we need to do that at this moment in time, but they offered. And, I'm very grateful for the fact that they offered. And some of the box holders too, and it's expensive. Box are expensive. Have stuck with us. So, generally speaking, the whole stakeholder group of Walsall Football Club have been tremendous, and to be honest, exceeded my expectations in so many ways. And I am sitting here a very grateful chairman. I really do.
And I think just to end on it again, Lee, is there anything final you'd like to say? I know we'll probably have another update next week from yourself on the state of play again.
To give updates, and I'll probably do them on a weekly basis. I mean, if there's nothing to add. They'll be, very short. But we're putting a lot of pressure on the EFL, a lot of pressure on the government. We are working very hard as a football club to keep things together. So far, we've done that pretty successfully. And I will continue to keep the fans updated. So you can expect me to do weeklies, just so as you know what's going on in the football club and where I need your help, potentially, and where I don't, hopefully, as we get the fans back in. So all I'll commit to do is to keep you informed.
Perfect. And thank you very much to Dan and Steph as well, and Lee as well, yourself, for joining me for another update. And I'm sure we'll have another one in the future.